All rise for the jury.
Not every nightmare starts with a scream. Sometimes it begins in the middle of an ordinary summer night, in an ordinary home, when someone slips inside with intentions no one could imagine. A boy taken from his own bed, a captor fueled by fascination no one saw coming, and a house where the lights were on, but mercy never lived. What happened inside those walls would reveal a kind of cruelty that feels almost impossible, and strength that feels almost superhuman. Welcome back to Justice 4. We are your hosts. I'm Jackie.
I'm Sam. I'm confused.
I love that I always confuse you with my openings.
You confuse the fuck out of me, dude.
Okay, before we get started,
Yeah.
if you didn't watch last week's episode, welcome to our new studio. We
It's
are
cute.
in love with it. We still haven't added the greenery thing because we just filmed last week's episode and now we're filming this week's episode, so we'll get there.
We changed shirts.
We did. We
That's
changed
the
shirts for
difference.
you.
You're welcome, Jen.
Yeah. Once again, please go follow us on all of our platforms at
Yes.
Justice 4 Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
YouTube, Audible, Spotify, Apple. I don't know what he said already.
Yeah.
Do it.
Podcast addicts. Apparently we're on there as well. We just found out.
Yeah.
Also, if you are hearing anything weird, seeing anything weird, please let us know. This is our new studio setup. We got new equipment. You know, it's kind of like learning this podcast all over again. If you watched our first couple episodes, we're glad that you're still around because I can't even bring myself to go back and look at those. We'll re-record those one day.
They're so cute.
They are so cute in our little beanbag fluff pillow chairs.
Right. Back in this room, though. We're back in the original room.
Just a different wall this time. I know.
We were little babies. You guys, we have we made a cork board that had all of our original cases that we wanted to do and like what we were following and researching and all this stuff. It's still in here.
It is. We keep staring at it while we're recording these episodes, and I think that we're going to post a picture of it because it's so cute. Because we've done all of those cases that are on this wall behind us, except for one, but we covered him in a WTF.
The ongoing?
Yeah, the Riley strain. But yeah, we're going to have to show you guys this board because it's so cool. Yeah. Okay. So, are you ready?
No.
All right. I have.
Did you want me to say yes?
I did want her to say yes, and then I disassociated and ignored that she said no and just kept going.
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. Now I want to watch Bring It On.
It's on Peacock.
Let's do it. I have the bundle set of all three of them.
Isn't there like 7?
Yeah, but when I bought it in the 2000s, there's only 3 of them.
That's fair.
Well, actually, I have the 2-pack and then I have a singleton.
I just like the Hayden Pantier one where she's crumping.
The crumping. I love it. All right, anyway, we are focusing.
We're focusing.
Okay. I have no idea why I keep doing episodes out of Wisconsin, but here I am, y'all.
Don't move there either, Jackie.
I don't ever want to move to Wisconsin.
Why do you want to move to Florida? We're moving on. We're focused.
Today's episode takes place in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Fun fact about Baraboo is that it has a very heavy Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers connection. So the Ringling Brothers grew up in Baraboo, and after they bought Barnum and Bailey, they used it as their winter town. So they had several buildings and barns there, as well as a circus museum, a circus college that was moved there in 1993, and the town is lovingly nicknamed Circus City.
That's cute.
Isn't it?
That's cute as fuck.
So, other than that, Baraboo is a small Midwestern town tucked between the bluffs and cornfields, the kind of place where summer nights drift by slow and quiet, kids rode their bikes until the streetlights came on, and neighbors waved from their porches. And the biggest rumor in town usually came from the high school football field.
Naturally.
Yes, as small towns do.
Friday Night Lights, man.
It was real. Baraboo was the kind of community where people left their doors unlocked, trusting the calm rhythm of small-town life to keep danger far away. But in the summer of 95, that sense of safety would be shattered. Because behind the stillness, something darker was moving, quiet, unnoticed, and far closer than anyone realized.
You're telling me that all those pictures you showed me are from 95?
Yeah. That year, Baraboo would become home to one of the most disturbing crimes in Wisconsin history.
No shit.
A story of a boy who vanished in the night, a captor barely old enough to drive, and a town forced to confront the fact that real monsters don't always come from outside. Sometimes they grow up right next door.
I know. I saw the picture.
You ready?
No. I'm still saying no.
Buckle up.
What kind of buckle?
Any kind you want.
I'll just do passenger buckle. Feels right today.
Okay, that'll be good.
Okay.
In the summer of 1995, the Phillips family moved to Baraboo, Wisconsin, in hopes of a safer and more serene community to settle down in. The Phillips had
That's
four.
ironic.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The Phillips had 4 children in total, 13-year-old Thaddeus being the oldest. It had only been a few weeks, but the Phillips were really feeling like this was the correct decision for them. They felt so safe and welcome that they didn't even bother to lock their doors. They didn't even think about it. That is how safe they felt in their new community.
Y'all know how I feel about this already. I'm not.
I know, I love it when I can put that in an episode a lot because it pisses Sam off. Friday, July 29th was a completely normal day for the Phillips family. The kids played outside and just did normal summer activities with all the new friends they had made in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Thad and his younger sister ended this perfect summer day by asking to stay up late and watch a movie. Since it was summer, their dad agrees to this arrangement and just heads off to bed.
Hell yeah.
Sometime after midnight, the sensation of being carried halfway wakes Thad up. Thinking it's his dad carrying him up to bed, he starts to drift back to sleep. Even though Thad was 13, it wasn't uncommon for his dad to still carry him to bed after falling asleep on the couch. And honestly, with my kid being like 12 and a half, sometimes I'm like, I bet you I could still carry her. Y'all, I only have 2 inches on her. It's a hilarious feat to watch.
I want to
Yeah.
watch that.
I can do it though, but it takes a lot. I can do it, and then I get up to the second flight of stairs, and I'm all, oh, okay. Then Thad realized he wasn't in the house. He was being carried outside. Still half asleep and pretty groggy, he figured it must be a family friend. That is, until he is set down on the gravel and asked if he could run the rest of the way with him. This man was telling him that his car was broken down just over the hill, and Thad, half awake and groggy, says, yeah, I can run. But when they get over the hill, it's not a car waiting there. It's a house. Once they reach the house, Thad finally gets a good look at the man, and much to his surprise, it wasn't an adult. It was a kid just a few years older than him. But Thad had never seen him or met him before. 17-year-old Joe Clark starts to tell Thad about a party he's having and starts listing kids that Thad knows from school. Even though Thad didn't know Joe, he didn't feel threatened or uneasy about any of this. Even with Joe being a few years older and much bigger than him, he was being really nice to him and seemed to know the same kids that he did. Thad was still really groggy at this point, but he just didn't feel like he was in danger. And to this day, he still he doesn't understand why his alarms weren't going off. They just weren't. Joe's house definitely wasn't winning the cleanest house on the block award by any means. There was trash and piles of clothes and dishes everywhere, and it definitely didn't look like a party was going on or about to be going on. Which made Thad question Joe a little bit, and Joe just simply replied that the other kids would be there soon. In the meantime, he had some model cars and baseball cards in his room that they could go look at while they waited. And Thad was really into model cars and baseball cards, so of course he went straight upstairs to Joe's room to start looking at his collection. The boys sit on Joe's bed and they're looking at the cards and talking about different players, looking at the cars and just, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But Thad's excitement comes to a screeching halt when Joe suddenly grabs Thad's right ankle and twists it until it snaps. Joe just kind of steps back, putting his hands over his head, and Thad can't tell if he's upset about what he just did, but either way, he wasn't sticking around to find out. Seeing this opportunity, Thad's fight or flight kicks in, and he makes a run for it out of Joe's bedroom and down the stairs.
How?
Adrenaline.
Jesus Christ.
Thad makes it as far as the kitchen before Joe catches up with him. Joe puts him in a headlock and drags him into the living room, slamming him to the floor. Then he immediately grabs Thad's right leg and forces it over his head until it snaps. Sometime after this, he twists and breaks Joe's left ankle, the same way he did his right ankle. With sunrise nearing, Joe has decided that he has had enough for now, so he throws Thad onto the couch and passes out for a few hours. At this point, Thad had been at the mercy of Joe for hours. He is in excruciating pain. He can't move to get away, so he starts looking around for something to hit or stab Joe with, but there's nothing within reach that he can see to help him.
Where's this motherfucker's parents? Go on.
At about 4 a.m.,
Did y'all see the look? The look she just gave me told me to shut my damn mouth. Go on.
I did. At about 4 a.m., Connie Phillips, Thad's mom, wakes up and notices a light on in the kitchen that is never on. That's when she notices that Thad isn't on the couch with his sister. So she checks his bedroom and he isn't there. After checking all the bedrooms and the basement, Connie realizes that Thad is nowhere to be seen. And
At 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m. And
Okay.
she begins to panic.
Okay.
She wakes her husband Donnie up and tells him what's going on. And as soon as the sun comes up, Donnie heads out looking for Thad, while Connie stays at the house in case Thad comes home. And because there's other kids in the house to take care of. Obviously, with younger siblings, you're not going to raise alarm bells until you know you need to. There's no need to freak out the littles.
Yep. And kids wake up hella early, don't want to start drama that early.
Yeah. Donnie starts driving all over looking for Thad. He even drives up to the Wisconsin River, which isn't far from their house. A place that they've gone camping as a family a few times, so it's familiar to Thad. Then he remembered there's a fair happening in town. So he drove to the fair and searched the entire fairgrounds looking for Thad. Donnie spent the whole day Saturday out looking for him, while Connie did everything she could from the house, calling any and all of Thad's friends or people who knew him to see if anyone had seen him. Both holding on to hope that Thad was just hanging out with friends and lost track of time. This entire scenario was so out of character for Thad. He was reliable. He kept in contact with his parents, as well as a teenager could in the mid-90s. But the bottom line is, Thad was always where he was supposed to be. He didn't get into trouble. He's a good kid. Meanwhile, less than a half a mile from the Phillips residence, Thad has gotten zero sleep due to the pain and fear that he is in. Unfortunately, this was just the beginning of Joe's torture. But Thad is a fighter. So when Joe woke up after just a few hours of sleep and tried to grab Thad's leg, Thad said, "Fuck this," and started fighting back, which only pissed Joe off more, causing him to begin to beat Thad. But that didn't stop Thad from fighting back hour after hour. That is until Joe told him that he would break his back or neck if he kept fighting him. At this point, Thad has been held captive by Joe for over 10 hours. Thad was getting tired, and the threat of having his back and neck broken was getting to be too much for him. So he made the decision to stop fighting and instead just use the pillow that Joe had put over his head to scream into, hoping to buy himself enough time to make a plan to escape. Thad just keeps asking Joe over and over again, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And eventually Joe simply looks at him and goes, "I'm fascinated by the sound of breaking bones."
Ew. Ugh, that's like the one thing I'm not good with is like seeing, like I can see as long as it's not coming out of the skin, I'm fine. I'm fine. And I actually dead ass stopped watching Tosh.0 because he showed one, and that was it.
His are bad.
I never watched another episode of Tosh.0 because he showed a broken bone. I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm done.
He did a lot of those. Joe finally answering him gives Thad the idea to just start trying to make conversation with him, trying to be a buddy with Joe, see where that gets him. And apparently, that's what Joe wanted. He wanted to. He started to open up to him as soon as Thad started to talk to him about his life. What is he like? All this other stuff. Thad was just trying to figure something out. And I mean, that worked because he had been silent this whole time with him. Thad can't remember a lot of the conversations he had with Joe, but he does remember asking him if he had ever done this before. And Joe proceeded to ask him if he knew who Christian Steiner was. And Thad said, "No, I'm new to the area. Like I don't know who that is." And Joe proceeded to tell him that he killed Christian and another boy.
Killed?
Did the same thing and killed them. By now, Joe has developed a pattern of breaking a bone or retwisting an ankle until it snapped again. Then he would go to a dresser drawer that held hundreds of pairs of clean white socks, all lined up perfectly. Everything in this house was a mess, covered in trash and dirt and everything. But this drawer was
socks.
Perfect.
Of socks.
Socks. Joe would take multiple pairs of socks out and then put them on Thad's feet, making sure the heel and the toe line lined up perfectly. All of the ribbing was straight, and he would do layers of these, all while telling Thad that this will help him. Then Joe would sit down and try to hang out with Thad, like it was a normal weekend of hanging out with friends. He would put on a movie or try to play video games with Thad like they were best friends or something. Thad would use this time to take advantage to find out about Joe and his life and trying to find something to help him escape.
Mm-hmm.
When Joe was breaking bones, he wouldn't say a word to Thad. In fact, he was silent and focused. But when it came time to hanging out, Thad could get Joe to talk about anything and everything. Joe told him how his family was out of town for the weekend visiting his sister. He talked about his girlfriend and his life. Thad
He
continually.
had a girlfriend?
He has a girlfriend. Thad continually asked Joe to let him go, telling him he would just tell people he tripped or he fell. It would be okay. He wouldn't tell anybody. And Joe would pretend to go along with it before saying, no, I can't do that. So Thad goes, okay, can I just call my family? Can I just make a phone call?
Mm-hmm.
And much to his surprise, Joe said, sure, and brought him a phone. But it wasn't until Thad dialed the number that he realized the phone wasn't hooked up to anything, and Joe just started laughing.
What a dick.
This quickly brought Thad to the unsettling realization that Joe was only talking to him so freely about his previous crimes and his life because he was planning on killing him before his family comes home. Around 5 p.m. Saturday night, at this point, Thad has been held captive and tortured by Joe for around 15 hours. Thad can hear Joe in the kitchen talking on the phone to his girlfriend. She's coming over to pick him up to go out for the night. Now that Thad knows there's a working phone in the kitchen, he begins to make a plan to get the phone and call for help. He knows he isn't far from home, but he has no idea where he is, and he can't walk at all, so his only escape is that phone in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
After Joe gets off the phone, he goes in the living room where Thad is on the couch, and Joe begins jumping on Thad's legs and knees, as well as his back. The skin around Thad's ankles was beginning to resemble rubber because Joe would just keep twisting them over and over to break them. Once Joe was satisfied with how beat up Thad is, he takes him upstairs, throws him on the bed,
No.
believing that Thad is incapacitated, and he shuts the door behind him and leaves.
Up the stairs, though.
Thad waits to hear the front door close and lock. He knows this may be his only chance at survival. He has to get to the kitchen and to the phone. Thad struggles to get off the bed, eventually getting himself out of the bedroom and to the top of the stairs. At first, he tries to scoot down them. He's already been passing out on and off during the day because of the pain at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew there was a very good chance that he would pass out as soon as he reached the bottom. His only worry was that he wouldn't wake up before Joe got home. Thad made the decision to roll himself down the stairs. Luckily, he only passed out for a couple minutes. Once he came to, he began pulling his body across the floor with his arms. Every few feet, he would pass out for a bit and then regain consciousness. He had no clue how long he had been at this or when Joe was coming home, but he wasn't stopping. He knew this was his only chance at survival. As he is about to reach the entrance of the kitchen, Thad's stomach just drops as he hears Joe walking up to the house with his girlfriend. Thad manages to hide himself behind the couch and out of sight just before Joe walks in. Thad lays in excruciating pain and fear as Joe takes his time talking and saying goodnight to his girlfriend. Thad thought about screaming out for help, but he was terrified. He didn't know if Joe's girlfriend knew about him, what she would do.
Uh-huh.
He didn't know. He was too scared. After Joe's girlfriend leaves, he walks in the living room to find Thad behind a couch, and he absolutely loses it. He picks Thad up and takes him upstairs, where he begins to twist Thad's ankles until his feet are facing backwards. Joe keeps going, beating and breaking different parts of Thad's legs and feet. What Joe and Thad don't know is that with every break, the blood vessels are breaking and tearing in his legs, causing internal bleeding.
Uh-huh.
7 a.m. Sunday morning. Thad's parents finally decide to file a missing persons report. They haven't seen or heard from Thad in over 24 hours, and they have looked everywhere for him and called everyone they can think of.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Thad has been tortured by Joe for more than 29 hours. The pain has become more than unbearable. He is dehydrated and starving, constantly in and out of consciousness. But that doesn't stop Joe from showing up every hour like clockwork to inflict more pain on Thad, re-breaking his legs and feet. At one point, Joe puts leg braces on Thad and then makes him try to walk.
Is that what that picture was?
Between the layers of socks and the leg braces, it was like Joe was trying to fix Thad so he could break him more. This continued all day into late afternoon. Suddenly, Joe upped the force and brutality of the torture. Thad said he was actually grunting as he was using so much strength, and this was a new one. Thad figured out it was because his girlfriend was coming over to pick him up again, and he was trying to make it so he couldn't try and escape again. Somehow, Thad could think clear enough still to try and distract Joe and make the beatings less. So every time Joe would grab his leg or start to jump on him, he'd be like, "Oh, I think I hear someone pulling up." And Joe would run to the window and check it out. But then he would come back more and more pissed off.
Yeah.
But Thad was trying to get any relief he could from the nonstop torture he was enduring. Even 10 seconds was enough.
Mm-hmm.
That small break was worth it for Joe to be pissed off when he came back. But also, Joe kept falling for this. He is 17.
It's so interesting.
Joe got so mad that he jumped on Thad's knees with his own knees over and over with enough force that Thad's knee was turned around and facing the wrong way.
Ew.
After this, Joe was satisfied and believed he had incapacitated Thad to the point of not being able to try to escape again. But just to make sure, Joe locked Thad in his bedroom closet before leaving with his girlfriend for the night. Joe's house did not have air conditioning. It's July in Wisconsin, so it's hot as hell, and not to mention being trapped in a tiny closet and humid as well.
Ugh.
Thad searched around in the dark, trying to find anything to help him break out the closet. At first, he tried to use a metal thermos, but it didn't work very well.
A metal thermos, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he found a guitar, and that did the trick. Somehow, Thad found the strength and positioning to bust through the closet door enough to reach up and unlock it. Like, he busted through enough to unlock it from the outside.
Holy shit.
Once he got through the door, he once again had to face the stairs. He was in far worse shape this time around. Mm-hmm. His legs were huge from the swelling, and the internal bleeding is causing him to pass out frequently and for longer periods of time than the previous day. He makes the decision to throw himself down the stairs and risk passing out again. He just hopes it's not for long. Thad then proceeds to painfully pull his body across the floor to the kitchen. Each time, he is somehow able to go farther than he did the previous night before passing out. Finally, Thad reaches the kitchen and he sees the phone hanging on the wall. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees that the cord is long enough for him to grab from the floor. He pulls the phone down and lets out a massive sigh of relief when he sees that the buttons are on the phone and not on the receiver.
I was so worried.
Terrified.
I just remember the phone in our kitchen was so high up.
Remember how long those cords were?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, but luckily...
It makes me think of like Napoleon Dynamite when he just walks across this entire house. And... Yeah.
Thad quickly dials 911, telling the dispatcher his name and that he doesn't know where he is. But he does tell him Joe's name and that his legs and ankles are broken, he can't move, and that they need to get there quick before Joe comes home. When the dispatcher radios out to police, an officer responds with, "This better not be a joke." I have to give a lot of credit to this dispatcher for believing Thad and taking him seriously, and in turn making the officers take him seriously. Something to mention, Thad is very calm and even-toned through this entire 911 call. I mean,
his
no
body's
panic,
in shock.
No nothing. He's very calm, which is why...
They weren't sure.
Mm-hmm. So, and it also helped that Thad's name was all over the police radios since that morning.
Period.
The officer actually asked to be put through to Thad and to talk to him while the dispatcher was trying to locate him. The officer still thought this could be a joke.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that Thad was being so calm on the phone, but he was repeating the same details. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't, there seemed to be an urgency of them getting there, but he wasn't, his voice wasn't urgent.
I need you to do this right now.
Yeah, it was very calm, but you could tell that it was serious.
He was just trying to get his point across. His body's in shock. Mm-hmm. What else?
Yeah.
Start taking people seriously, for fuck's sake.
But nonetheless,
Yeah.
3 officers race to Joe Clark's house.
Period.
And they are absolutely shocked at the sight of Thad and the state of the house where he was kept. Police described the house as being uninhabitable, with no air conditioning, the amount of trash and clutter all over the house. Oh, yeah. And they also found 3 lists in Joe's room titled Leg Thing, Can Wait, and Get to Now. Or Get to Know.
But it's
Or
kind of
Get to
spelled
Now.
like now.
Either way. Each list had names under them.
Oh, God.
Thad is rushed to the hospital by ambulance, where he goes straight into surgery. Doctors said that he was about 2 hours from dying due to the internal bleeding. Joe came home after Thad was taken away in the ambulance while police were still processing this unbelievable crime scene. 17-year-old Joe Clark was immediately arrested and taken into custody. Once Thad was out of surgeries and recovering in the hospital, police spoke with him, and that's when he told them, Joe has done this before. Unfortunately, Thad couldn't remember any names.
Bummer.
Of the boys.
I remember one of them was Christian.
Mm-hmm. Thad was really beating himself up over not being able to remember. And that's when his dad had a brilliant idea. He started to read last names out of the phone book to Thad. And when his dad got to the last name Steiner, it clicked. And he gave him a first name. And then that is when his dad looked it up. And he had been missing. Thad could never remember the other boy's name, no matter how hard he tried, what he did.
Did you say that name? I didn't think so.
To this day, nobody knows the other boy's name.
I thought you said there was a list of names underneath it,
Yes, but none of those names correlate with anyone missing or anything else. To this day, it is not known who the other boy is Joe was talking about. We do have Christian Steiner.
Okay.
And police were absolutely shocked when Thad comes back with the name Christian Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
Christian went missing a year earlier on July 4th. His body would be found days later in a river, like caught on a tree. It was ruled an accidental drowning after water was found in his lungs. There were a lot of people who did not agree with that ruling and believed there was more to it. Christian, like Thad, was taken from his home in the middle of the night. The screen on the window was slashed. There were muddy footprints in the house in Christian's room. But let me specify, those muddy footprints were contained to Christian's room and right outside his room, as if somebody knew exactly where they were going in this house. They were not wandering around. They knew what they were doing.
Yep.
Not only that, but the last person Christian was seen around was Joe Clark, because he hung out with Christian's older brother. Joe was even questioned about Christian's disappearance, but he maintained his innocence, and his mom even gave him an alibi, saying that she was at home sleeping, and there was no way Joe could have left that house without her knowing. Which turned out to be a whole lie.
I have so many questions. Do you talk more about his parents? You can answer yes.
Who?
Joe. Joe's parents.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you want me to wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
But come back to that for me.
It's stuck. It's stuck in here.
Now that Thad is telling police that Joe confessed to Christian's murder, they decide to take another look at the autopsy and see if he had any similar injuries to Thad. Fun fact, x-rays are a part of autopsies. I didn't know that.
I also didn't know.
Like,
I mean,
when
it
it's
makes
applicable,
so much sense.
when it's applicable, yeah.
Also, in the 90s, like,
Mm-hmm.
they really liked their x-rays.
Unfortunately,
Don't.
no x-rays were done because there was water in his lungs and evidence of drowning. Yeah. The Steiners agreed to exhume Christian's body, hopeful to finally get some answers about their son's death that they never really believed was an accidental drowning. They always had their suspicions about Joe. And now they had confirmation that Christian didn't accidentally drown. His legs and ankles were broken before he was thrown into the river where he eventually drowned. And I can't even imagine the pain and torture that Christian endured. It's absolutely barbaric. Joe was then charged with the murder of Christian Steiner.
Is that all he was charged with, Jackie?
In regards to Thad Phillips, Joe Clark was charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide, mayhem for twisting his ankles and breaking his legs.
Wild.
I didn't know you get charged
What?
with mayhem. Did not know.
Sorry, I'm excited about that. That's kind of cool.
I didn't know you get charged for mayhem.
That's kind
Causing great bodily harm to a child, causing mental harm to a child, and child enticement. That's an interesting one.
Interesting.
I think it's because he took him from the house and then lured him in with the baseball cards and the model cars. I think
Yeah.
that's the child enticement.
That makes sense.
Joe pleaded no contest to these charges, claiming he was not guilty due to mental disease or defect.
Okay.
He was then sentenced to 100 years in prison.
God damn!
So we have no trial for Thad.
Sorry, I yelled that really loud. I heard the echo.
It's fine. Joe wasn't... Oh, go ahead.
Say what you said about that again.
So he pleaded...
He pled no guilty.
He
no
pleaded
contest.
no contest to the charges, claiming
Yeah.
he was not guilty due to mental disease or defect.
Yeah, got 100 years.
So he got sentenced to 100 years.
Yeah.
That's Joe and Thad's part of this.
Okay.
He's sentenced in that. But he's sentenced to 100 years in prison for Thad. For Thad.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe wasn't done yet. He still had to go through a trial for the murder of Christian Steiner. Thad was set to testify against Joe in this trial. Unfortunately, just before he was scheduled to testify, 15-year-old Michael Hubish, Joe's neighbor and friend, shot Thad twice in the back with a hunting rifle.
What the fuck, Jackie?
Michael was pissed about Joe's legal situation and felt that Thad was responsible for it. Thankfully, Thad recovered and still managed to give his testimony.
This poor guy.
I know it.
Oh my god.
Joe was found guilty and sentenced to life with an additional 50 years imprisonment. Just a fun little add-on, Michael, the guy who shot Thad, in 2018, he gets arrested and sentenced to 12 years in prison for the sexual abuse of a teenage girl, which I guess is something considering he was not charged in 1996 for shooting Thad because he was a minor.
You're lying. No. That's like that shit that's going on in fucking Tennessee right now.
So I wonder if he did get charged, but he got wiped because he got charged as a juvenile, and there's nothing about that. So I'm wondering if it's something like that, which, by the way, we will be talking to you guys, what she just mentioned. Yeah, so there's that. That really pissed me off that Michael never got
charged with
any consequences for literally shooting Thad in the back twice. Attempted murder.
With a rifle?
With a rifle.
Oh.
We're not even going to go for witness tampering. We're not even going to go with what is that? Not obstruction of justice. What's the one in the court?
Conspiracy?
No, what's the one in the courtroom where they get contempt? I don't know how that would be contempt, though.
I don't think it's not contempt.
I don't know.
No.
Thad Phillips had to go through years and years of countless surgeries and physical therapies just to be able to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
Thad was just 13 years old when this happened to him. He should have been out playing sports and riding bikes with his friends, not going through surgery after surgery and physical therapies day in and day out.
And getting shot at 14. Whatever.
Yes. Like I said earlier in this episode, Thad is a fighter. So it should be no surprise to you that he fought like hell to have somewhat of a normal life.
Period.
Thad now lives a very private life, only talking about what happened to him in documentaries or news articles. He went on to have a few kids, and from what I have seen on social media, he is doing very well and tries to advocate for victims whenever he can.
Hell yeah.
After years of fighting, the Phillips family successfully won a lawsuit of $21 million. But they have never seen a single penny of it.
Because he's in jail. He's making maybe 25 cents a day.
Yes. And unfortunately, this is a story that we hear all too often when it's not a lawsuit going after the police or the city or a company. But even when it's McDonald's, they still screw you over.
I scratched myself way too hard. Sorry. I'm surprised though, even though he's in prison, how have they not gone after the family?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just not being assholes because the family didn't do anything wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. But
interesting. Okay.
A friend of the family, Olga Johnson, and her husband were just absolutely floored and devastated when they found out that Thad never received $1 in the settlement.
Mm-hmm.
So with Thad's blessing, they have set up a GoFundMe page in Thad's name to help pay for his medical bills that he still has to this day. So far, it has raised $25,000. It is still active. It is up. I will link it. You know that we never ask you guys or tell you or whatever, but if you feel like it, it's always there. We do have people who ask for the GoFundMes and things, so I always like to add them in there. Mm-hmm. We are by no means
you better do this.
Yeah, not at all. We just like
No.
to add it because if we can help, we're always about the victims. And
Yeah.
if somebody wants to help, then
He
it's
survived.
lovely. Yes.
He survived a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot of my information in this episode comes from an escaped episode featuring Thad. And he literally talks about everything he went through in that. It's a really, really good episode. It was a lot of my information for this, and it's just incredible for him to be able to talk about this and walk you through it. And it's just, it's so unbelievable to think this was happening.
Yeah.
But you want to go back to
parents.
Yes, Thad's parents.
No.
Joe's parents.
Joe's parents.
Yeah, so Joe's mom claims that she's a very, very light sleeper. And Joe would have to walk right past her room in order to leave the house. And so there's no way that Joe could have left that house without waking her up. And that's why he could not have been involved in Christian's murder. I'm
very confused also, though, like how his parents weren't charged with anything if the house was really, like, inhabitable. Because he didn't make that mess within a day of them leaving.
No, and there's not really any information about Joe's family and what happened with that.
Yeah.
His parents were out of town. They were visiting his sister. But that alibi that his mom brought up is what the police cleared and were like, yeah, this is an accidental drowning with him.
For a minute.
And it was even proven that that's not even how the setup worked.
Yeah. Like, dead ass for a minute, I thought the parents weren't alive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Like, yeah, you think that this is like that kind of situation.
Kind of, yeah. Like, one, why
we're
going to
find them dead in the house somewhere?
Yes. Because for a second you said they found 3, and I instantly was like, bodies. And I was like, you said list. I was like, no, damn it. Like, I don't know. It just feels... Man, okay. And you might touch on this. Did they ever do, like, mental evaluations of this man?
Of Joe?
Yeah.
Not that I saw. Not that, like, I mean, possibly, but he was... I think they did, but he didn't fit into any of that because he didn't get... we weren't fighting for any of that. Not even in Christian's trial did we have delays to do, like, psychological testing and do all that.
It was also the 90s. That wasn't a big thing. It was very...
And he was also 17. He was almost an adult. He got charged as an adult for these things.
Period.
So I also don't think that they were giving him much leniency. It was a small town.
That's fair. Like, just based off of what you were telling me, though, he has a fascination, apparently, with feet. Specifically,
like it's the breaking of the bones and the control. There was in the escaped episode I talked about, there's a psychiatrist on there that kind of talks about him being in control.
Yeah.
And it's like a power thing, and that's why his victims are the ages they are.
Valid. It's totally valid.
Yeah.
My concern, though, I keep going back to that perfect drawer of socks. Why he kept putting... Like, did he just keep adding socks, or was he removing the socks and adding other ones? Like... And they have to be perfectly aligned, perfectly set. Like, and then the paranoia of him being like, I think I heard someone, like, every 10 minutes. Why would you keep doing that unless there's something up there that's not okay?
Like, why would you keep believing that?
Yes. Like, you know what's happening. Why does it, like, it's like a memory loss thing. Like, hi, I'm Tom kind of situation. Yeah. It just...
It is the socks, and that is a very, like, thing that we see with the clean knives.
Yes.
The episode you did.
Yes.
It's a very, I don't know. Because so much of this is focused on what happened to Thad in there and him surviving. Like, it's really, when you research this case, it's very much on the details of that. Yeah. And a lot of the articles and things repeat the same things.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously. And so, that part is very intriguing to get more on. Mentally his side.
I think there's something wrong. Like, also the fact that he was 16 when he killed Christian. He was probably 15 or 14 when he killed the other kid. Like, unless he did it in between and we just don't know. Like, it feels like there's something wrong with him. And, like, personally, I don't give a fuck if you want to find it out. He's in jail for the rest of his damn life. But that's...
Yeah, the psychology behind it is nuts.
Yes. It's just so interesting. But then the fact that he had friends. He had a girlfriend. like he had relationships. It's so, I don't know.
It's very Dextery.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm really happy Thad's alive.
So yeah.
And like living his life. Like he moved on and had kids and all this stuff, and good for him. I love that he's an advocate.
Yeah, and he just, he still lives in Baraboo. Which is kind of shocking to me,
I'm
but
shocked by that.
I'm really surprised. But yeah, just, I had a survivor story, guys.
She did it.
Yeah, is there anything else?
I have a lot I want to say about it, but like again, I'm just going to be talking in circles. There were so many like little like minute details that you mentioned that I'm like, why wasn't this looked into? Why wasn't like everything?
And it's also like wild to me, like how long his parents waited. And one thing that breaks my
Yes.
heart in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Escaped episode is his dad goes, we just moved here. We didn't know anybody. And it just, if I would have gone door to door knocking on the doors, I probably would have found him.
Oh,
He was
literally next door. He was
like literally within half a mile.
yeah.
And he goes, if I just would have gone and knocked on everybody's house, I would have found him. He would have heard me.
Yeah. That's
Like, he could have
heartbreaking.
screamed. Yeah. And so like his dad does live with that, was that he thought he did absolutely everything to find him, but
Yeah.
had he just gone door to door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then back to the justice system part of it, of him not seeing a cent. Like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, yay, these people win all this money in lawsuits and stuff. But, like, if you're in prison, especially for the rest of your life, yes, they work in prison. Yes, they get meals in prison. Yes, they're essentially
And
confined.
then the other part to it too is, so I'm going to use Brian Koberger as an example right now because this is coming up at the moment. He filed a motion to not have to pay the restitution because of the GoFundMe's that the victims' families had, even though Kaylee's family tried to give all that money back from the GoFundMe, and the supporters would not allow it. They were like, no, we don't want it back, because they didn't have to go to trial anymore. Anyway, so he's claiming that, but then here's the counter of it is, he's having money put on his books. There's people who are funding him and doing all of this stuff because,
They think
there's
he's
always
innocent.
going to be a groupie. And when they have money put on their books, they can only take 20% of that for victims' funds. And I think it should be all of it until it's paid off. I think that everything they make in prison should go to the victim's family until 100%. It is paid off.
100%.
And so the fact that he hasn't seen anything, one, could be because nobody is putting anything on Joe's books.
That's fair. That is fair. And generally, it's like dead ass, they're making like 25 cents an hour.
Which is fine. Give me that 25 cents an hour.
That's what I'm saying. Like that shit adds up. $1, $2, $3 a day, that shit can fucking add up.
Yeah.
Stop fucking giving prisoners and murderers and... I'm upset.
I know you are. I just don't know how much noise that's going to pick up.
Oh, I haven't heard it. Regardless, stop giving these fucking people
money.
Like, stop.
Don't.
Worry about the victims. Worry about the victims' families. That's who deserves to be taken care of.
Yes.
Not these scum of the earth motherfuckers who literally took the lives of people.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's something that definitely needs to be fixed. I don't know how to fix that or what the fix is for that, but
I don't think there is one.
I don't think there really is going to be one.
Unless something so bad happens, because that's what it is. It's always a tragedy that changes things.
Yeah.
And at this point, it would have to be, because we talk about some fucked up things on here. And it would have to be that times a million, probably, to make any type of reform on that.
It really would be. And I just don't even know what the fix for that is, but it's so unfortunate because that's like lifetime complications and problems to deal with from something at 13.
Yeah.
You got any other thoughts?
Did he learn to walk? Like, he actually walks?
Yeah, he walks and he's good to go. I mean, he has a little bit of a limp. I mean, it's not like a perfect, but
I
I also think it's very, very interesting
Yeah.
that the only bones he was breaking was the legs
Legs.
down.
Yes.
And it wasn't even like the hip he was breaking, he was like snapping the femur in
Yeah.
half.
I remember the
You know
picture.
what I mean?
I remember the
Like
picture.
it wasn't hands, it wasn't arms, nothing
Which
else. I mean, he was jumping on his back and other stuff like that, but he was really just breaking from the
focused on the
waist
legs.
down.
I'm surprised by that. It's like he wanted them to put up a fight.
Yes.
But like the legs are, if you're gonna fight someone, y'all, fight someone with your fucking legs. Because that's your strongest point, is your legs. So it kind of makes sense. Like he wanted them to fight,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough to where he couldn't overpower them.
Yeah, and Joe he was a bigger kid. I mean,
Yeah.
not like linebacker, not like Kendrick Johnson, like big high school kid. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was a huskier kid.
Yeah. Kendrick Johnson wasn't big.
Well, he was, I mean, like bigger stature, like tall and like,
He was very tall.
yeah, he had
Yeah.
tall and like could overpower that way.
Mhm.
Like, yes, Joe was taller than him, but he also had a little bit of that like huskier
Yeah,
build.
that makes sense.
Which is absolutely wild. This one, I completely forgot about it. This case, I've heard this years ago, and I was fascinated when I heard it. I have forgotten about it the entire 2.5 years we've had this podcast until I saw a blip about it, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about him."
That's wild. That's wild shit.
Isn't
I've
it
never
crazy?
heard of this before.
You've
This
never
is
heard of this
crazy.
case before? Yeah, it's a pretty wild one. So
I was also, what, 4 when it happened?
yeah. So I ask you and Sam, did we get justice for Thad Phillips and Christian Steiner?
Legally, yes, we did.
Yes, without a doubt. Legally, I believe that we have justice because he's serving life sentences. He will never be able to do this to anybody else again. And that part worked.
I also love that they charged him as an adult.
Yes.
I love that they did that, especially with just he got 100 years for an attempted murder. I mean, obviously, and all the like child
torture
things
and all
too.
that.
That's amazing, especially since that one fucker didn't get shit.
Considering our episode last week, he got 2 years for killing 5 people. It's fine.
Well, also the Michael guy in this not getting anything.
Not until 2018 or 2008.
And
One of the two.
I think it was 18, and it wasn't even for this. Though,
yeah,
which is because that's also attempted murder. Being shot in the back is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Especially twice. Drake ended up in a wheelchair because of it, man.
On Degrassi. Oh my
sorry.
God. On Degrassi.
On a show. On a TV show.
Jimmy. Not Jimmy in the wheelchair. You know that Drake tried to quit Degrassi during that because being in a wheelchair would hurt his rap career? Not like being from Canada did that.
Jackie.
He did. He wanted to try to end his contract and not do that. He wanted Jimmy out the wheelchair because it was hurting his rap career. Isn't that not the funniest thing you've ever heard?
We love people in Canada, by the way.
Oh yeah, like Justin Bieber's from there, Deadmau5 is from there. Canada people rock.
Alanis Morissette is from there.
Yeah, Tim Hortons, gang gang. Robin Sparkles, let's go.
Oh, dude, I fuck with some Tim Hortons though.
So yeah, where were we talking about?
Being shot in the back, Michael.
We love Degrassi. That's what it was.
I'm just saying, like, he must have been a really bad fucking shot.
Thank God.
Thank God. Being shot twice in the back doesn't,
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of connections that fucker had.
It's crazy. But yeah, that you can't find a whole lot of info, and I really tried, but it's obviously all sealed and locked. So
I have nothing further. I'm gonna zip.
So I do want to end with this. There's 2 things I'd like to end with. At the end of the Escaped episode, Thad said something that I just loved. It made me smile ear to ear, and I knew I had to put it in here. I quote, "I hope he gets beat up in prison. I would like to get my hands on him. I'm not a kid anymore."
Period, Thad.
Yeah, like, get it, boo-boo, get it. And the last thing that I would like to leave you guys with is, justice does not undo tragedy. But without Thad Phillips, Joe Clark would have continued to kill children.
I know where she said that from. I was dead. I was just thinking about that quote. I'm like, what was that quote again? Ugh, amazing.
Yeah. So that was my episode today. I hope you guys have a better day than this. I mean, it was a survivor story, but it is a very incredibly brutal story.
Yeah. When you asked, do I need to put a trigger in here for warning, like a warning of broken bones? I was like, no, you're fine. I didn't realize it was that.
And I
Jesus.
tried not to go into too, like, some podcasts and some things go into a lot of detail about
Oh, yeah,
the
no.
breaking and all that. And I was like, I just need to tell you which bones were breaking where, and that was about it. Because
We don't need to do that.
yeah, no, we didn't need to do
Yeah.
that. So, shameless plug time. Please go order some merch. It's awesome. We're gonna work on some Christmas merch. If you went to the live, please use your live code, your
Do it.
discount code. Do it.
It's worth it.
It is. At Justice for Podcast everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, anywhere that you
Other
could possibly
places.
type us to find us.
Yeah.
Check out our website. We have resources on there, all of our episodes, pictures. If you're listening, the pictures are on there. They're going to be on our social medias.
Yep.
On there, you could also submit a case. Do you have something that you want us to cover? You don't want to do all the research? Let us know.
Also, the people who have submitted cases, we've seen all of them. We're working on getting some of it in. Some of it just requires a little bit more resources. Also, there's a few cases that some people submitted like last season that we actually spoke to family members of the person you sent to us, and we're waiting on information. We're not going to do a case for clout for us. We want the families involved if possible, and we want to do it right for them and for the victims. So
Yes.
if you did submit a case and you haven't heard it from us yet, there is a reason. There is a very, very good reason. And I'm generally pretty good about emailing you guys and letting you know why. But that's why.
Yeah, and also, I know there might be like one in there. We want to make sure we give it all of our attention, so we're going to wait till after the holidays because then we can really dive in. We get a little bit crazy in November and December between our jobs and our families. So some things we just want to make sure that we can put all of our time and effort into.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
we don't. I know we've said this a lot. We don't half-ass things here. Like our research, when we're scripting, y'all, we are generally still trying to type shit up while we're getting ready to record because we don't want to miss details. We want to give you guys all of the information that's not misinformation. And like that's just us. And you're welcome.
I went back into this script last night. I think 11 o'clock at night. I texted you and I was like,
it was almost midnight.
Oh
you
yeah,
texted me.
I was like, I'm finally happy with my script. Yay!
Yeah.
And so we just want you to know we really do put a lot into this. So when we do have something wrong or we do miss something, we do like it when you guys tell us because we want to make sure. And sometimes there's just conflicting sources or we see this in one spot and we didn't see it in another spot. So
we're pretty good about mentioning that. But again, we may miss something. Tell us.
And we don't live everywhere. Sometimes we're geographically wrong. Sometimes, and Google did me dirty on my Michigan UP episode, which my family in Michigan let me know about. But it's okay. So just we are open to constructive criticism. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah. Don't be an asshole, just be an asshole, because I'll be an asshole back to you.
We will. Or we have other people who do it for us.
Still me.
Yeah.
I will still do it.
So yeah, that's it today. We'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode. I have no idea what it's gonna be because it's her episode and I haven't looked at the Google Calendar.
So I'll just tell you right now that her name is Betsy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Betty. Oh no.
And she forgot the name of it, so now you can't Google it. Haha.
You're welcome. I think I got Betsy from last week's episode. I think her name was Betty.
Okay.
Anyway, so I've been researching for our live show, and I found a bunch of cases that I now want to cover, and this was one of them that was a contender for our live show. And I was like, no.
Okay.
Let's do it for a regular episode.
So I'm excited. I like that little preview. Okay. So, anything else?
No, I got nothing, man.
All right.
Wonderful. We'll catch you guys later. Have a very safe week. Please be safe. This is not the week of Thanksgiving.
No, it's not.
It is. It's a week of Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a very happy Thanksgiving, you guys. If you're going Black Friday shopping, please be safe. I know it's completely different now and people don't trample each other anymore. I was about to say some intrusive thoughts, and I'm going to keep that to myself. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. Eat as many deviled eggs as you want. Don't let anyone tell you you can't.
Yes, and I wear a size medium in shirts and a size 8 in shoes, so just think about me while you're shopping.
I like purses. Anyway, remember, it's trash can, not trash can't. That's It's my motto.
Okay. Have a great day, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you guys later. Okay. Love you. Bye.